Back to Behind the Bands. I'm here in rainy Centerville, Maryland. We are camped out under a little, I don't know what we're under, some kind of canopy here. I've got Leftstronger with me. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Now, if you guys could just say your names and what you play in the band for us.
I'm Chris, I'm the guitarist.
Jesse, I'm the lead singer. Joe, drums.
Tony, bass player.
So now, what do you guys have in the works now? I know you've got a 2010 album out there that we've really enjoyed listening to a while, but I think there's some new music in the works, is there not?
Yeah, we're getting ready to go in the studio in January and begin recording, and see what happens. We're pre-deciding on songs right now because we write like a zillion of them, and it's a big fight and war, and sometimes you hate each other. No, I'm just kidding.
So what's that process like when if you've got all these songs and you've got four of you and you're trying to figure out what you're going to put on this thing? How does that happen?
Arm wrestling.
Nah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, usually it happens in practice when we're starting to warm up. It's just a little riff or a little lick will just spark somebody's imagination or anything else. It'll just lead like, hey, what was that? And that'll start the building process.
Usually that happens when we're trying to prepare for a show like this one, and we're like practicing, and then who plays something, I say, don't you dare unless you want to start working on a new song, bro. Because as soon as he starts, popping a riff out, then it's all over.
That's why we have 1,000 songs, because he lets
nothing
nothing go.
It all sounds good. I like it. The first record was different. I mean, I got a lot of the songs out of my chest because I wrote them at 15 and a little bit older, so I had a lot of material to get rid of and use. So this go around's a little bit different because I've written, some of the songs I'm either reusing from back in the day from 15 or something brand new, and then actually there's a couple that have been collaborated together, so it's a lot of work off my back,
but
this
it's a
go
unique
around
thing though, because of the different styles that's in the group.
Right.
That's right.
So this guy right here brought a whole different direction.
So what does everybody bring? What do you bring, and what are your styles?
Well, I came from an R&B jazz background, coming into a rock band. That's a fusion for you. So, and he came in from some metal and
I did a lot of melodic metal, of just a lot of harmonizing and just good, nice, heavy riffs, but nothing too extreme. And then to counterbalance Jesse's writing, just kind of intertwine both and put a new little twist on rock.
It took a while when he first came in. It was like he's pulling out these, Avenged Sevenfold style riffs, and I'm like, I don't know how to sing to that, man. That's totally weird, because I grew up with when I first started listening to music, I was listening to, when I was born in Boca Raton, Florida, I listened to like fusion jazz, like, Spire Gyra, and then I went from there. When I came up to Maryland in 1990, I got into, the songwriter, and Tom Petty and, James Taylor stuff. We got the songwriting down, and then I came into, Nirvana came out, and I got into the grunge stuff, and that kind of stuck. But Alice in Chains was the biggest influence, so I learned how to harmonize my own voice, and so I use a lot of that as inspiration, plus post-grunge stuff. So, I got a lot of that, going in. That's just one person, and then to put that in with the rest of us.
And this guy.
And then this guy.
Yeah, I grew up playing in church. So ever since I could walk, I was playing in church.
Rock band.
I've got the soul aspect of it, but then like Jesse, cut my teeth on grunge. So church plus grunge equals unique.
Yes, it does.
I'd like to get a little of the story behind the name Leftstronger and get a little bit of that from Jesse to kind of let folks know where that name came from and what it means to the band.
Okay. The name pretty much comes from, well, there's a two meaning to it. The self personal reason would be that I have cerebral palsy, and it's on my right side, and I have a really weak right hand. You can kind of see my fingers don't work like individually like that. They kind of go as a claw almost, Captain Hook, I guess. And so basically my left arm is stronger than the right, so that's the joke side of it. But then, as we all know, people go through a lot of stuff, there's a lot of versatility and adversity that they try and, live through. And so when they come out of a lot of their trauma through life, they're left standing stronger. So it has that double-edged meaning. You can laugh about it and you can be serious about it. It's great.
So did you train yourself? Now, I had read the story on your bio that you were a drummer originally.
Correct.
And you had to kind of train yourself backwards to play the guitar? Or is that...
Yeah. I started out as a drummer, and that's why I got into a lot of these types of bands. Like Dave Matthews is a huge influence as a drummer because, I just learned a lot of that stuff. And then by the time I was about 15 or 14 or so, I basically had a guitar that I bought for my dad and for Father's Day because he used to play, so I guess it's in my blood, but he used to play. And so for Father's Day I tried to get him back into it. He wasn't doing it, so I just sort of like started playing it every time I would hang out with him. And then I realized I can't get any finger work going on if it's I can't strum like this, so that's not going to work. Well, one's going to have to switch. So what if I flipped it around? So by the time I got in I took a guitar class in 8th grade, and everyone was looking at me weird because I figured it out and turned it back and did the rhythm, and then I just made this open chord D tuning where it already sounds like a chord when you strum it open. So then you don't really have to do any finger work, with the other hand. I'm cheating. That's right. I admit it. So instead, I go up and down to the neck just like this, and it kind of it's already a chord open, so each closing fret is a chord. And now imagine trying to learn any of these songs. Imagine trying to learn these songs looking upside down. So. Right. I give him a lot of credit for having to figure this crap out.
It's really interesting when we write songs, when watching Jesse teach a riff to Chris, especially when it's like 9/8 time signature, Yeah. When he doesn't even know what time signature is, he's just playing it. And Chris and I are counting together,
There's this one riff we were working on. It's not going to be on this record, but it will be in the future, I'm sure. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but it sounds cool. I started playing it, and Joe's like, just keep playing it. Let me count that. And what was it?
It ended up being 13/4.
It was like what 7/4, 9/4.
It was something. It was crazy. Yeah, it was.
And I didn't know. It just sounded good to me, So
you need a special setting on the GarageBand program.
Yeah.
Gotta customize it.
My method of songwriting though is like I'll either sing something or I'll play it, and if I don't remember it the next day, I throw it out.
Right. It wasn't worth remembering.
If it ain't worth remembering, it ain't going to be a good hit. So.
You guys are playing a song that I know a lot of folks have kind of liked, the song called One Hot Rocker. Is that going to be on the new album?
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about that tune. Maybe who wrote it?
That song is interesting. The very first Leftstronger show was maybe about 3 weeks into it. I literally played, I got guys together, literally played my girlfriend's birthday party and like maybe one practice, and then the following week we had a show at Bourbon Street when that used to be open, and we went out there and we weren't we were the headliner, for some odd reason for the first band, So we were out there, and so we were sitting there, and this girl comes up, real cute girl, actually a friend of mine now. Her name's Jesse Magee. She has her own band. She comes up and she starts playing, and I went down and kind of looked at the crowd that was there, and they sort of looked at the act, and I noticed all the men's jaws were fully dropped. So it was like, and I just looked at it, and I was like, she's got him. She's got him in the pocket. That's one hot rocker. I went home and wrote about the whole evening, how it was our first show, and it was just exciting to play our very first gig. And there was this other band from Ohio called This Day Forever. So when I put the main chorus down, I made sure I included them as well, in the line. So if they're still, but if they hear that song, they're gonna notice their name is in there. It's called It's a one night to remember. It was this day forever. So it's in there, and so it kind of mentions the whole evening for first show. So.
Awesome story from a very cool band. This is Leftstronger out of, I guess, Baltimore, Maryland. We call you from? Baltimore-ish. Baltimore-ish band. Looking forward to seeing you guys today at Island Bay Days. It'll be our second time actually seeing you. Looking forward to seeing this lineup. You guys are a great live act, and I want to thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you very much.